Is it just me, or are films that contain repeated time loops almost universally awesome? Yeah, think of all the movies that have a character repeating a section of time. Groundhog Day, Edge of Tomorrow, Source Code, The Endless, The Final Girls. There's something so satisfying about someone getting used to reliving the same passage of time over and over again and then trying to work out how to break the spell. That's what intrigues me about Happy Death Day, which is essentially Groundhog Day only with a serial killer. It follows a girl named Tree on her birthday as she is stalked and killed by a masked murderer. However, every time she is killed, she wakes up at the beginning of the morning as if nothing happened. The chase is on as she is killed over and over trying to work out who her fated killer is, or be doomed to die for eternity. That is a cool damn premise.
Oh, hey, you're up.
The movie does a really good job at keeping you constantly guessing who the killer is. Every time I thought I had it nailed down, the movie would shift to show that my deductions were completely wrong. And even right up until the very end, I was still startled by revelations that I didn't see coming. It's a terrifically warped whodunit and a lot of fun attempting to work it out. As for the killer themselves, they aren't exactly going to be injected into the Hall of Horror icons. Apart from a weird baby face mask, it's just a person in a black tracksuit. And aside from a really damn good chase scene in a hospital and car park, there's no creativity to the way they kill or act. They're just a plot element more than a character. Everyone else in the film is likeable, if a little bland, but the main hero is the one that everyone talks about.
What?
I mean, are you always this charming in the morning?
Just this one.
So are you having a bad dream or something?
Sorry.
You were just screaming before you woke up.
Well, I was dying.
I know I'm in the minority here, but I find the main character is so unlikable, it's painful. She's insanely selfish, rude, helps a guy have an affair on his wife. Bitch. It's really off-putting considering she's meant to be our heroine. I understand she's meant to be independent, will change later, and runs her own life, but she just comes off badly here. If you want a superb way to make this type of character likeable, watch Trainwreck: Her Promising Young Woman. And it's not like Groundhog Day, where the main character is changed forever by the experience over time. She only changes her attitude really abruptly out of nowhere in a 5-minute sequence at the end. I got the feeling she's still kind of a total douche, just one that helps out people on this particular day. One thing you can't deny is that Jessica Roth absolutely kills it in this role. Even though I didn't like her character, her performance was near flawless portraying her.
Tree.
No, believe me, I know it sounds totally crazy, but this is happening to me, I swear to God.
Tree, I'm sure it feels like you're living here.
Okay, you made me a cupcake. For my birthday, right? You're about to give it to me, and then later on tonight there's a surprise party.
It kind of surprised me that this genre of film has been done so much that Happy Death Day's story beats were actually pretty predictable, following the cliches found in other time loop movies. There's the montage of her dying over and over. This scene where she persuades someone she's telling the truth as she can list events that happen before they do. A scene where she helps all these said people throughout the day and more. It doesn't feel earned though, because she only dies 17 times in the movie. It doesn't really feel believable that she's learned so much in that amount of time. And there's no vague timescale like in Groundhog Day. It's pretty solid in telling you how long she's been looping for, just over 2 weeks. Happy Death Day is a victim of borrowing too much from other time loop films and not injecting enough new ideas into the mix. However, it's a unique little distraction with a tight mystery at its core that is a lot of fun. So I'd recommend it for at least one viewing.
I wasn't sure if you wanted to sleep in or not, sorry. Tree?
No fucking way.
Happy Death Day absolutely slayed at the box office, so a sequel was inevitable, though very hard to pull off. I was genuinely intrigued what kind of twists they could put into the formula, considering how surprisingly formulaic the first film was. This one does switch it up. Not only by explaining why the time loops happen, but this time, Tree and this Asian boy who was a minor character before enters the time loop again on the same day, but in a different dimension. So it's essentially the first movie again, only with this universe having several changes. It's actually a really neat way of keeping in line with the first one.
Impressive. Very nice.
In terms of the killer this time, they're barely a factor in their own movie.
Who set you free?
The fact someone is out to get Tree honestly feels completely sidelined, and the killer barely appears outside of a few brief scenes to remind you, oh yeah, there's a murderer on the loose. The characters don't even seem to care about finding out the identity. All their focus goes into getting back to their own dimension. Because of this, calling the movie a slasher film is pretty inaccurate. It's a sci-fi comedy that happens to have a killer in the subplot. The whole film is devoid of tension or genuine frights. It really banks on you liking the characters and their relationships because it's based completely on Tree's emotional storyline and getting used to the new world. Honestly, if you took out the bad words and the tiny flecks of CGI blood, it could pass as a family film. It's that far removed from dark horror. It's extremely well paced and the manic energy it exudes is admirable, but it ruins any chance the film has at mystery or suspense. Because the characters care so little, I didn't give a shit who the killer was either.
Sorry, bad timing.
It comes off more of a teenage sci-fi comedy, but doesn't take advantage of its dimension-hopping narrative or have the laughs enough for it to be a satisfying experience. To describe the feel of the film, imagine the tone of The Maze Runner, but even more lighthearted. The humour is very hit or miss. When it's jokingly referencing things from the first, it's pretty damn funny, but its attempts at straight-up humour really fall flat. I've never found characters just shouting swear words funny, and here there's a lot of that. Happy Death Day to You adds some fun twists to the series' formula, but barely registers as a horror film. I'd only recommend it if you're a really big fan of the original, otherwise all you'll find is just a forgettable sci-fi comedy.